Hey everyone, Sarah here. Rewind Justice brings you revenge stories that will blow your mind. If you're ready, hit subscribe and let's go.
My sister Vanessa and I used to be close. Growing up in San Diego, we shared everything: clothes, secrets, dreams about our futures. She was 3 years older, always the achiever, always the one our parents held up as the example I should follow. "Why can't you be more like Vanessa?" Mom would say when I brought home a B instead of an A. Vanessa would never settle for less than perfect. I stopped competing around age 14. What was the point? Vanessa was valedictorian. I was happy with honor roll. Vanessa got full scholarship offers. I went to state school. Vanessa landed at a prestigious law firm right out of college. I took an entry-level position at a tech company nobody had heard of. The distance between us grew slowly, like continental drift. Imperceptible day to day, but over years we ended up on different continents entirely. She married Derek Chin when I was 23. He worked in finance, drove a Tesla, wore expensive suits. At their wedding, he barely acknowledged me during our one conversation. "So you work in what exactly?" he'd asked, already looking past me toward more important guests. "Tech software implementation." Ah. The dismissal in that single syllable told me everything I needed to know about how he saw me. Vanessa seemed happy though. They bought a house in La Jolla with an ocean view. She made partner at her firm at 32, youngest in the firm's history. Derek got promoted to senior financial analyst at a private equity firm. Their Instagram was a highlight reel of luxury: Cabo, Aspen, New York, Dubai. Meanwhile, I lived in a modest apartment in Normal Heights, drove a 7-year-old Honda, and rarely posted anything online. "Elena, when are you going to get serious about your career?" Vanessa asked at Mom's birthday dinner 3 years ago. "You're 28. You can't stay entry-level forever." "I'm not entry-level anymore," I said quietly. "Middle management then." "Still." She sipped her wine. "Derek knows people. We could probably get you an interview somewhere better." "I'm fine where I am." She exchanged a look with Derek. That look said everything. Poor Elena. No ambition. Such a waste. What they didn't know, what nobody in my family knew, was that I'd joined that no-name tech startup as employee number 12. I'd worked 80-hour weeks for the first 2 years, taking equity instead of competitive salary. I believed in the product, believed in the team, believed in our CEO's vision for transforming enterprise resource planning software. When I was 25, we got acquired by a Fortune 100 company for $840 million. My equity package was worth $6.2 million after taxes. The acquiring company offered me a position as implementation VP. I accepted immediately. At 26, I was making $340,000 annually with bonus potential of another $200,000. By 28, I'd been promoted to Senior VP of Enterprise Solutions, managing a team of 140 people across North America. My base salary was $580,000. My total compensation package, including stock options and performance bonuses, averaged $1.4 million annually. I lived in my modest apartment because I was never home. I drove my Honda because I didn't care about cars. I didn't post on social media because I was working, traveling, building. I didn't tell my family because I was testing something. I wanted to see who would love me when they thought I was nobody. The answer became clearer every year. Vanessa's 10th wedding anniversary party was scheduled for April 15th. She'd rented out a private room at the Marine Room in La Jolla. Ocean views, 5-course dinner, 200 guests. The invitation had been gorgeous. Embossed gold lettering, heavy card stock. "Join us in celebrating a decade of love and success." I RSVP'd yes, bought them a nice gift. A first edition book Vanessa had mentioned wanting years ago. It cost me $1,200. I didn't care. She was still my sister, even if she saw me as the family disappointment. The party was exactly what I expected. Beautiful people in expensive clothes, champagne flowing, conversations about vacation homes and investment portfolios, and which private schools had the best college placement rates. I wore a simple black dress from Nordstrom. Good quality, professional, but nothing that would stand out. I'd learned to blend into these family events, to smile and nod and let the evening pass without incident. "Elena." Mom found me near the bar. "You look nice. Is that dress new?" "Got it last month." "You should talk to Vanessa's friend Michelle. She works in HR at a biotech company. They might have openings." "I'm good, Mom." Happy in my current position. She patted my arm with that sympathetic smile I'd seen 1,000 times. Of course, honey. But keep an open mind. You're not getting any younger. I was 31. Apparently already over the hill. Dad appeared with Uncle Roberto. Elena, still at that tech company? Still there. They treating you well? You know, Roberto's son works at Qualcomm. Good benefits there. More stable than these little startup places. It's actually not a startup anymore, Dad. We were acquired. Whatever you need to tell yourself, Mija. He squeezed my shoulder. The important thing is you're working. Not everyone can be high achievers like your sister. I excused myself before I said something I'd regret. The dinner was spectacular. Chilean sea bass, truffle risotto, chocolate soufflé. Vanessa and Derek sat at the head table, glowing and perfect. He gave a speech about how blessed he was to have found his soulmate. She cried delicately, her makeup remaining flawless. I was genuinely happy for them. Whatever my family thought of me, I didn't wish them ill. I wanted Vanessa to be happy. I wanted her marriage to work. Then came the special surprise. Vanessa stood, tapping her champagne glass. The room quieted. Thank you all for being here tonight. Derek and I are so grateful to celebrate with the people we love most. She paused, smiling at the crowd. But tonight isn't just about looking back on 10 wonderful years. It's also about honesty. About truth. About family. Her eyes found mine across the room. My stomach tightened. Some of you know that my younger sister Elena has been struggling to find her footing. For years she's told increasingly elaborate stories about her job, her position, her responsibilities. Vanessa's voice dripped with sympathetic concern. We've tried to be supportive. We've tried to help her face reality. My heart started pounding. But recently the stories have gotten out of hand. Claims about being a VP, about managing large teams, well, honestly, it became too much. Derek and I were worried. Was Elena having some kind of breakdown? Was she delusional? We needed to know the truth. She gestured toward a man I hadn't noticed before, standing near the back of the room. He was in his 50s, gray hair, stern expression, wearing a dark suit. So we hired Thomas Garrett. Mr. Garrett is a licensed private investigator with 23 years of experience, former FBI. We paid him $8,500 to conduct a thorough background check on Elena's employment claims. The room went completely silent. I felt 200 pairs of eyes turned toward me. This investigator will prove you're pretending, Vanessa declared, her voice stronger now. Everyone will know. Derek stood beside her, nodding with that same dismissive expression I'd seen at their wedding. We're doing this because we love you, Elena. You need professional help. These delusions. Everyone will know, Vanessa repeated. I just smiled. Not a nervous smile. Not a scared smile. A genuine smile. Because I knew something they didn't. Professional investigators don't just investigate the subject. Good ones investigate the context. The family. The people making the accusations. And Thomas Garrett was very, very good. The PI stepped forward, carrying a leather portfolio. He didn't look at Vanessa. He looked at me and something flickered in his eyes. Respect maybe. Or pity for what was about to happen. He opened the portfolio. I was hired to investigate Ms. Elena Martinez's employment claims, he began, his voice flat and professional. I was provided with allegations that she had fabricated her job title, salary, and professional responsibilities. I was asked to verify the truth. Vanessa smiled triumphantly. I conducted a comprehensive investigation. I contacted her employer directly. I verified her employment records, reviewed her professional history, and conducted interviews with colleagues and supervisors. He pulled out the first document. Ms. Martinez, verified Senior Vice President, Enterprise Solutions at Fortitude Systems, a Fortune 100 company. His voice cut through the room like a blade. Current base salary, $580,000 annually. Total compensation including bonuses and stock options, $1.40 million annually. Manages 140 employees across North America. Employment verified. Credentials verified. Tax records verified. The room erupted in gasps. Mom's champagne glass slipped from her hand, shattering on the floor. Dad just stared, mouth open. But Garrett wasn't finished. However, he continued, his tone shifting slightly, As part of standard due diligence in family investigation cases, I also conducted background checks on the parties who hired me. This is protocol when family members make accusations about each other. It helps establish credibility and motive. Vanessa's smile faltered. During my investigation, I discovered irregularities in Mr. Derek Chen's financial records. Derek's face went pale. Garrett pulled out a second, much thicker folder. Mr. Martinez, $210,000 diverted from company funds over the past 18 months. Unauthorized transfers. Falsified expense reports. Systematic embezzlement from Chin and Associates Private Equity. Derek screamed. Not yelled. Not shouted. Screamed. That's not, you can't. But Garrett was already handing documents to the room. Bank statements. Transfer records. Email trails. A forensic accounting report that laid out every fraudulent transaction in excruciating detail. My brother-in-law had been stealing from his own firm for over a year. Falsifying client reports. Moving money through shell accounts. Building a separate nest egg he'd hidden from everyone, including Vanessa. The beautiful anniversary party dissolved into chaos. Vanessa grabbed the documents from Garrett's hands, her face cycling through disbelief, horror, and rage. This is wrong, she said, but her voice shook. Derek would never. I have recordings, Garrett said calmly. Mr. Chin was recorded discussing the transfers with an associate. I can play them if you'd like, but I'd recommend doing so privately. Derek was backing toward the door, his face the color of old newspaper. It's not what it looks like, he stammered. I was going to replace it. It was temporary. I had investments that. You stole from your own company, I said quietly. It was the first time I'd spoken since Garrett started his presentation. Derek's eyes snapped to mine and I saw it there, rage. Not shame. Not remorse. Rage that he'd been caught. Rage that I, worthless, delusional Elena, was the one witnessing his destruction. This is your fault, he hissed. If Vanessa hadn't. I didn't do this, I said. You did. Vanessa was crying now, her perfect makeup finally running. How could you not tell me? He was looking at me, not Derek. How could you let me humiliate myself? I tried to tell you, I said. 3 years ago at Mom's birthday. You cut me off. You said I was entry-level and I said I wasn't, and you didn't want to hear it. You should have insisted. Would you have listened? She opened her mouth. Closed it. Looked away. Dad stepped forward. Elena, is this true? You make over $1 million. Yes. For how long? 3 years at this level. Started at the company 6 years ago. Mom was still standing in shock, staring at the broken champagne glass at her feet like it held answers. Why didn't you tell us? I wanted to see who would love me when they thought I was nobody, I said simply. I got my answer. Uncle Roberto laughed, sharp, bitter. So this whole time while we felt sorry for you, while we tried to help you, you were, what? Testing us. Not testing. Observing. That's cruel, Elena. Is it? I looked around the room. Crueler than assuming I was a failure? Crueler than pitying me without ever asking about my actual life? Crueler than my own sister hiring a private investigator to publicly humiliate me? Vanessa flinched. The room had divided into factions. Some people were still focused on Derek's embezzlement, whispering furiously. Others were staring at me like I'd grown a second head. A few looked ashamed. Garrett cleared his throat. If I may, I need to inform you that I'm required to report the financial crimes I've uncovered. I've already filed a report with the district attorney's office. There will likely be charges filed within 48 hours. Derek made a sound like a wounded animal and bolted. He actually ran, pushed through the crowd, knocking over a champagne stand, and fled the marine room. 2 security guards moved to follow, but Garrett held up a hand. Let him go. He's not going far. Vanessa collapsed into a chair, her face in her hands, shoulders shaking. I felt a pang of sympathy. She might have humiliated me, but she hadn't known about Derek's crimes. He was a victim too. I approached her slowly. Vanessa. She didn't look up. I'm sorry, I said. I'm sorry you're going through this. Don't. Her voice was muffled by her hands. Don't you dare pity me. I don't pity you. I love you. You're my sister. I tried to destroy you in front of everyone. You tried to prove something you thought was true. You were wrong and the method was cruel, but I understand why you did it. She finally looked up, mascara streaking her cheeks. You understand? I just humiliated you in front of 200 people. I spent $8,500 to expose what you thought were lies, I finished. Because from your perspective I was delusional. Mentally ill maybe. You thought you were helping. I thought you were pathetic, she whispered. I thought you were a failure making up stories to feel important. I know. And I was the pathetic one. Married to a thief. Too blind to see it. I sat beside her. You're not pathetic. You're hurting. Your husband betrayed you. That's not your fault. She laughed bitterly. Meanwhile, you're a secret millionaire VP. God, the irony. Not so secret anymore. We sat in silence for a moment while chaos continued around us. Mom was crying. Dad was on the phone, probably with a lawyer. Guests were leaving in droves, whispering and staring. The beautiful anniversary party was now a crime scene. What happens now? Vanessa asked. For you? Probably divorce. For Derek? Probably prison or at least prosecution. For us? I paused. That's up to you. I don't deserve a relationship with you after this. Maybe not. But I'm offering anyway. She looked at me, really looked at me for the first time in years. Who are you, Elena? I don't think I actually know you at all. I'm the person I've always been, I said. You just stopped looking. The next 48 hours were a blur. Derek didn't go home that night. He didn't go to work the next day. He vanished for exactly 36 hours before the U.S. Marshals found him at a motel in Riverside, attempting to book a flight to Singapore. He was arrested on charges of embezzlement, wire fraud, and money laundering. The $210,000 was just the beginning. Once forensic accountants dug deeper, they found over $470,000 in fraudulent transactions spanning 3 years. He'd been stealing since before I'd even joined my tech startup. Vanessa filed for divorce 72 hours after the party. Mom called me crying. Elena, I'm so sorry. We were terrible to you. You weren't terrible, Mom. You just didn't see me. How can we fix this? By seeing me now. Dad was quieter in his apology, but it came. I was proud of the wrong daughter, he said. I'm sorry, Mija. I'm proud of you. I should have said it years ago. You can say it now. Uncle Roberto sent a long email. Aunt Patricia called. Cousins I hadn't heard from in months suddenly wanted to reconnect. Some of it felt genuine. Some of it felt like they were drawn to success rather than to me. I answered everyone politely. Forgiveness wasn't the same as trust, and trust had to be earned. The hardest call came from Vanessa on day 4. The firm is gone, she said. Her voice sounded hollow. Derek's crimes destroyed everything. His partners are suing. Clients are fleeing. It's over. I'm sorry. Don't be. It was built on lies. She paused. I need to sell the house. I can't afford the mortgage on my salary alone. Do you need help? I need to do this myself. Another pause. But thank you for offering. I mean it, Vanessa. If you need anything. I need to figure out who I am when I'm not Derek's wife or Mom and Dad's perfect daughter. Her voice cracked. I need to do what you did. Stand on my own. You will. I don't know how to be the failure, Elena. I don't know how to be the one people pity. You're not a failure. You're someone who was betrayed. There's a difference. Is there? Yes. A failure gives up. You're still fighting. She cried, then really cried, and I sat on the phone listening until she was done. Vanessa sold the La Jolla house. She moved into a small condo in Point Loma. 1 bedroom, street parking, no ocean view. She threw herself into work, made senior partner, and started building a practice focused on financial fraud cases. Ironic, right? She said over coffee one Saturday. Using Derek's crimes to build my career. Poetic, I corrected. Maybe. We had coffee every other weekend now. Sometimes it was easy, full of laughter and shared stories. Sometimes it was hard, weighted with years of distance and hurt. But we showed up. Both of us. Derek pleaded guilty to 15 counts of fraud and embezzlement. He got 8 years in federal prison. I felt nothing when I heard the sentence. He was a stranger who'd made his own choices. Mom and Dad invited me to Sunday dinners. They asked about my work. Really asked, listened to the answers, seemed genuinely interested. It was awkward at first, but it got easier. Tell us about the project in Austin, Dad said one evening. So I did. I told them about the implementation challenges, the client negotiations, the late nights troubleshooting. I told them about my team, about the people I mentored, about the satisfaction of solving complex problems. They listened. We missed so much, Mom said softly. You're here now, I replied. That's what matters. Uncle Roberto apologized face to face, which I hadn't expected. I judged you without knowing you, he said. I'm sorry, Elena. I forgive you, I said. And I meant it. Some family members never apologized. Some stopped coming to gatherings once they realized I wasn't going to fund their projects or invest in their schemes. I let them go without regret. The family members who stayed were the ones who wanted a relationship with me, not my bank account. I finally moved out of my modest apartment. Not to a mansion. I bought a craftsman house in North Park with a yard for the dog I'd always wanted. I got a rescue mutt named Murphy who didn't care about my job title or salary. He just wanted walks and belly rubs. I started posting occasionally on social media. Not to show off, but to share my life. Pictures of Murphy. Updates about work projects. Photos from team dinners and company events. Vanessa commented on every post. At Christmas, Mom asked about my work and I pulled out my phone to show her photos from a conference I'd spoken at. You gave a keynote? She asked, amazed. For the third year in a row. Why didn't you tell us? You never asked. She was quiet for a moment, then, we're asking now. Tell us everything. So I did. I told them about the companies I'd helped transform. The systems I'd implemented. The teams I'd built. The awards I'd won. The board I sat on. The mentorship program I'd started for women in tech. I told them about the work that fulfilled me, the challenges that drove me, the vision I had for where my career could go. They listened. For the first time in years, they really listened. And Vanessa sat beside me, her hand on my shoulder, tears in her eyes. I'm proud of you, she whispered. I should have said it years ago, but I'm saying it now. I'm so incredibly proud of you, Elena. I looked at my sister, scarred, humbled, rebuilt, and I saw something I hadn't seen in over a decade. I saw someone who actually saw me. I'm proud of you too, I said. And I meant it. Because the truth is, power reversals aren't about money or titles or proving people wrong. They're about finally being seen for who you actually are. My family had spent years looking at me and seeing failure. Now they looked at me and saw their daughter. Their sister. Their Elena. Not perfect. Not rich enough to impress. Not successful enough to brag about at parties. Just me. And finally, miraculously, that was enough. Thomas Garrett, the private investigator, sent me a bill. Not for investigation services. Vanessa and Derek had paid for those. This was different. Consultation fee for additional investigation requested by subject. The invoice read. $0. Paid in full. There was a note attached. Ms. Martinez, I rarely see subjects handle exposure with as much grace as you did. I've been in this business 23 years, and that was the most satisfying report I've ever delivered. The look on your sister's face when she realized she'd hired me to prove you right was priceless. The look on her husband's face when he realized he'd been caught was even better. No charge for the consultation you requested about your sister's financial situation post-divorce. Consider it a professional courtesy. Best of luck. I smiled. I'd hired Garrett 3 months after the party to quietly investigate Vanessa's finances, make sure she wasn't drowning, make sure Derek hadn't hidden assets she could claim. Garrett had done the work pro bono and found an additional $85,000 Derek had squirreled away. Vanessa got it in the divorce settlement. She never knew I'd hired him. He never would. Some things you do for family, not for credit, but because they're family. My phone buzzed. Text from Vanessa. Coffee Sunday? Want to tell you about a case I just won. I texted back. Absolutely. Proud of you. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Proud of you too, little sister. Love you. I looked at those words for a long moment. Love you too. I set down my phone and looked out my window at Murphy digging enthusiastically in the backyard, destroying my landscaping with pure joy. My life wasn't perfect. My family wasn't perfect. But they were mine and I was theirs, and we were finally, seeing each other clearly. That night at Vanessa's anniversary party, I'd been proven right. But the real victory wasn't the vindication. It was this: a Sunday coffee date with my sister. A family that asked questions and listened to answers. A life where I didn't have to hide or prove or perform. A life where I could just be Elena. And that, it turned out, was worth more than any title, any salary, any validation. It was worth everything.